Hello, Raleigh. This is citizen reporter Robert Courts coming to you from the YBY Raleigh News Network. And today I'm having a follow-up interview with Councilwoman Patton. Councilwoman, thank you for joining me today.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Well, Councilwoman Patton, let me be the first to say that I have been very impressed with your first term on council and that you have certainly checked all the boxes I'm looking for in a good counselor. So thank you for standing up for the average citizen.
Thank you so much. It's been an honor and a joy.
Well, I'd like to start with your permission on your vast experience. While it's only been 2 years since you were elected, you've done so much in such a short period of time, and not only learning how to be a counselor and getting on the road, but you've had several successes, and I was hoping you would share some of those with us today.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, me and my freshman colleagues have really jumped in with head first the past 2 terms. And so I've visited every city department to learn what they do internally. And we see them out on the streets and at events and in front of the cameras, but it's really cool to learn what they do behind the scenes. I've been on ride-alongs with the police force, the fire department, the 911 call center, solid waste services, and the list goes on. So it's been a real honor and really incredible to be surrounded by so many helpers that make our city go round. But I also have just been really proud of the work that we've done in the past 2 years. Some of my favorites have been that I got the master plan for Forestville Road Park. This was city-owned park land. It would otherwise not have been programmed for another 10 years, probably. Maybe would have been on some future bond. But through a public-private partnership, we got the funding for the master plan, so that should kick off in the new year. Really excited about that.
That is something that you brought to District B that may never have happened, but certainly brought it forward. And for just a minute, your ride-alongs and your engagement with the city staff, I think really shows a commitment to your leadership. So many counselors, they come to the table and then you don't see them again until they come to the table, but you're actually in the streets. You're actually visiting the departments that we all need to make our city run. So that is rare to you and the new counselor. So that is certainly props to you for that.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been a real eye-opening experience. You know, we certainly learn a lot through the reports and memos and information that's brought to us at the table in those more formal settings, but we learn really valuable insights just by being on the truck or being in the field. And that helps guide our action and decision making too.
Well, that's only one aspect of your first term. You've had some wins. I know you are committed to affordable housing, our climate challenges, and our employees. Would you talk a little bit about some of your successes in those areas, please?
Yeah, so on affordable housing, this is the banner issue for the whole city council. We're all working our tails off to make sure Raleigh works for regular working folks. And that, for me, it's important that it's not just working for folks right now, but will work for generations to come. I've got a young daughter, and I want to make sure that Raleigh works for her, whether she becomes a barista or a surgeon or anything in between. And so some of our proudest accomplishments, we helped preserve affordable housing at Grosvenor Gardens. And I particularly secured some extra funding to help create a longer runway for residents living there who were going to experience some rent increases. Just about 2 weeks ago, we allocated $15 million to build about 450 new units, some of which will be right in the heart of downtown, and they'll have rent rates at something like $569 a month. So some of the steepest affordability we've seen. We're doing all of the things. Another thing I'm really excited about is our direct voucher program. So landlords can still discriminate for their tenants based on source of income. They can say they want earned income, but not alimony, Social Security, or housing vouchers. And this makes it really challenging for people who have that type of income to find rentals on the private market. This new voucher program will put money directly in the hands of residents so that they can participate in renting on the private market, just like you or I would. So.
Well, let's pause there because I think that is a very interesting workaround, right? We now have, or during this voucher program, giving the money directly to the citizen allows them to circumvent this blockage that was real and evident. Now, this is a trial program, if I'm not mistaken.
So we're calling it a pilot in the sense of the size and scope of how many people will be served right now. We anticipate that it'll be wildly successful and we'll continue to grow the program. So I don't want people to hear pilot and think that we'll sunset the program at the end of 1 year. Just that we're going to measure and then grow from there.
Right. I feel certain you'll champion it if it turns out to be the success we hope it is, and I'm grateful for that. What successes or what's your approach to our climate situation, Councilwoman Patton?
Yeah, absolutely. So first, we acknowledge that the climate is changing. Climate change is real. It's here. It's happening. We can look no further than our neighbors in Western North Carolina to know that the climate is changing. The challenges of extreme heat, extreme weather events, longer hurricane seasons are upon us, and we have to prepare for that. So the city has a goal to reduce our carbon emissions by 2050 by 80%. We're on our way. We recently got a presentation that we have reduced our carbon emissions since the last time they were measured. So we are headed in the right direction. Some of that has to do with transportation, making sure people have opportunities to get around our city without a car if they're able, or that they can replace their car trip. They can drive to a park and ride and get on a bus that will take them where they need to go. That our Greenway network is not only for recreation, but for transportation. So we've made a lot of investments there. This also involves protecting our tree canopy. So through my work in the Growth and Natural Resources Committee, we've adopted principles of the Green Growth Toolbox, which will have more native planting in new construction. And we've empowered this citizen tree task force of sorts to help with education and preservation of trees on private property for like individual homeowners and property owners. So protecting our tree canopy, making sure we can get around. The city is also doing this very cool program that I call them poo-powered buses, although this is not the official marketing term of the city, but basically taking our wastewater that is going to keep flowing out of our toilets and sort of sucking all the nutrients down, turning them into clean natural gas and putting them back into the buses. We think that we'll power about 70 buses in the fleet through this fuel source. And then the excess will get put just sort of in the natural gas pipes. And the city will actually, residents will benefit because we'll get energy credits, and those will serve to subsidize our wastewater work and thus lower your costs.
What I also like about the poo-powered buses is that aside from the natural gas, the nutrients that are taken out are then reinvested in soil, and it's a chance to put this nutrient-rich sideways back into the environment in a sustainable way. So that's a double win. And while I have the floor, I also want to say I noticed your commitment to the employees got you an endorsement from the Raleigh Professional Firefighters. So your commitment to Raleigh City employees as well as the citizens is well noticed and appreciated.
Absolutely. We couldn't do without our employees. You know, they are really the ones who make the city go round. I am not the one who's going to respond to your fire or your emergency or replace your sewer pipe when it goes down. We rely on the experts in the field to do that. And so I'm glad to invest in them so they can continue to invest in you all.
Well, thank you for that. I'd like to switch topics just a little bit. As Raleigh's champion of local, I believe that the best council people are the ones committed to citizen engagement. And I've noticed that you've had a commitment to that since your first day of serving.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think city council is closest to the people, and I love that about our work here. And so I've had monthly in-person office hours hosted at local businesses around my district. I also have an email newsletter and have been active on social media. I've got links out in the world so that people can sign up to get on my calendar to have a phone call with me, just trying to meet people where they are.
Well, that's is noble. It's also rare for many of the servants I see. They've had no citizen engagement. I particularly call out our current mayor, who, since she's been serving as a member and or a a mayor has no engagement, but you came out of the gate with it, Megan. And I think that really sets you apart from the average councilor. And another thing that I think really sets you apart is if you really want to look behind the mask of a candidate's persona, you follow the money. And I just took a peek on your donations, and they're exclusively from citizens that I can see, small donations made by a citizen who appreciates your service. Could you speak to that for just a moment, please?
Yeah, absolutely. So our campaign is not accepting any PAC donations this cycle. We really want to be supported by the individuals we serve. So my average contribution last I checked was $65. And I think that really speaks to the grassroots campaign that we're running. I want people to be in my corner because I've helped them with their constituent services. I've supported their needs or lifted up their values. And I think we're seeing that reflected financially too.
Well, every chance I get to peek behind your mask, you seem to be genuinely true citizen, servant of the citizens, and your servant's heart is duly noted and appreciated. In our last few minutes, if we have anyone that wants to help out with your campaign, how can they get in touch with you and what do you need?
Yes, absolutely. We'll take time, talents, or treasure, whichever you have. You can find out more at pattonforraleigh.com. So that's the word for spelled out, FOR, pattonforraleigh.com. Same on social media. I am asking everyone if they can spare 2 hours to support our campaign. If you need to do that from your home, I've got postcards you can write. If you can spare 2 hours at an early voting location or on election day to hand out our literature, or if you can knock some doors for us, all of that is appreciated and goes really far.
Well, let me just say this. Raleigh, Megan Patton for District B is here with a servant's heart, and she is ready to lift your voices. So all this and more is in your backyard. Megan, thank you for joining me today. Raleigh, check out Megan. Give her a vote. Give her a little treasure. Give her a little time. You won't regret it.
Thank you so much.